Before we jump into this review, guys, I know you notice I haven't uploaded in a really long time because I've been pretty busy. There's been a lot of changes going on. So if you're interested, I'm going to post a detailed video over on Patreon, so you can go over there and watch that if you're interested. This is information that I feel for any old guy just viewing the channel, this is not for them. This is for the guys who've really been truly watching my channel and following Brian 916 channel for a long time. So this video is for you guys. So you guys can head over there to Patreon and watch that video. There will be a charge just to sort of weed out the people who truly want to know what's going on with Brian 916 versus the people who just watch my channel occasionally and just wanted to be nosy. So that'll be over there at Patreon. So anyway, guys, let's get into this review. So I got some Tekton items in this box here. Ava, what do we have in the box?
We have screwdrivers.
So we got some screwdrivers from Tekton to show you guys. You probably seen them already. It's the new hard handle made in USA screwdrivers that Tekton just released. and they were kind enough to send me these screwdrivers, and they wanted me to tell them what they thought. So I'm gonna open up the box here and show you guys exactly what I think about them. Now, I haven't got a chance to do any automotive repairs with these screwdrivers yet, but I was able to put together a lot of items here at home because I moved. So we did a big move. I broke a lot of items down, and I had a lot of tools that were wrapped up and on a moving pod, and I didn't have access to screwdrivers. So when Tekton reached out to me and wanted to send me these screwdrivers to see what I thought, it actually came in real handy because there was a lot of items that I needed to put together that I broke down for the move, and I just didn't have a screwdriver. So Tekton, these screwdrivers helped out a lot more than you think.
Thanks for the screwdrivers, Tekton.
Alright guys, so as you know, we got the hard handle screwdrivers in this box here. Ava, how old are you?
4.
So Ava's 4 years old. How well do you know your screwdrivers?
I knew my screwdriver.
Alright, what kind of screwdriver is that?
Phillips.
Very good. And what kind of screwdriver is that?
Flat.
Very good. So we're going to get all these screwdrivers out here, guys, and we'll take a closer look at them, and I'll tell you what I think. Okay guys, so these are the new hard handle USA made Tekton screwdrivers by now, and I'm sure you guys have probably seen them already, but Tekton, like I stated, sent me these. They wanted to know what I thought about them, so big shout out to Brent over at Tekton Tools. They were kind enough to send me these screwdrivers, and honestly these screwdrivers really did come in handy. Like I stated earlier, all of my tools packed up in a totally separate pod than like our home furniture and things like that, and that pod hadn't come to the new place yet. So when I needed to put furniture together and different things, I didn't have a screwdriver, so these came in handy more than you guys know. So shout out to Tekton. So I worked with these a little bit. I haven't done any automotive work on them, but I did put up a mailbox outside, put my refrigerator together, and I had to take the door off and things like that to get it through the out my old house door and things like that. So again, Tekton wanted to know exactly what I thought about these screwdrivers, and as you guys know, I'm gonna give an honest opinion. So I haven't got to do any automotive work on these, but like I said, I have done some work around the house on them, and I'm gonna just give you guys my unbiased and honest opinion on these screwdrivers. They feel a lot like the old snap-on hard handles, and I think I may have one. Let me see. Okay, yeah, so I did find one. Okay, as you can see, this is a snap-on screwdriver. These are the old hard handle snap-on screwdrivers that most of you older technicians are familiar with. These were the screwdrivers that many of us used before they started switching over to the soft handle screwdrivers. So here's the Tekton screwdriver side by side, and you can see here this little impression right here for your finger to go. And they feel pretty identical. I wouldn't be surprised if, since both of these are USA made screwdrivers, I wouldn't be surprised if they were probably both made in the same factory perhaps. Please don't quote me on that. I don't know for sure. But these definitely look pretty close. So being that there are two categories for screwdrivers, most of us technicians and most blue collar guys will have a really good set that they won't pound on, and then they have the set that they do pound on. Now I can tell you right here that this is a really versatile screwdriver right here. The quality on these are some good go-to screwdrivers in my opinion. I think that these screwdrivers, in my honest opinion, can be used for all around use. I think you could use these if you wanted to, just primarily for driving screws. It's got nice hard tips on them. The handle, it's got a nice handle on there. they fit the Phillips head fits really well into the screws. I found myself when I was assembling some of my furniture and things at home, I found that it would be easy to strip it out. So I had to be careful about how tight I took it when using the screwdriver, because I felt that I could easily strip it out. So I think that these screwdrivers definitely could be some go-to screwdrivers. Currently, I've been using these screwdrivers here, which are the snap-on soft handles, and these have been my screwdrivers to use primarily for just driving screws and not beating up on them. But I do believe that these Tekton screwdrivers, for a lot cheaper than these snap-on screwdrivers, could be used for the same exact purpose. These Tekton USA made screwdrivers could be used for just running screws in and out because they work so well. So I do believe that you could use these for like your premium set of screwdrivers. But I also believe, because of the price of these screwdrivers, you can use them much like I use these. I beat these screwdrivers up, you know. I've used these screwdrivers to get up under things, pry on them. I've tapped on them, you know, and you're not supposed to. You know, I've scraped things off with it. Also used them as screwdrivers. I've done everything you can think of. I've clamped on vice grips to help me get a little more leverage on tight screws. I've done everything you could think of and beaten these up. But I also think you could use these as well if you want to just beat these up, only because the price is so inexpensive on these, that I think that if you wanted to buy like a good quality set that you could bust screws with and sort of beat up as an all-around screwdriver, I think these are, like I said, go-to screwdrivers, because most technicians that buy premium screwdrivers like this, and they buy like snap-on screwdrivers and things like that, they're afraid to beat them up. And sometimes our job calls for us to like really work with the tool, really beat it up and like really use the tool. But guys don't want to do that with these because they cost so much. So what I'm trying to say is you can actually get a premium set of screwdrivers with this Tekton set, but the price is affordable enough that you could still like beat these screwdrivers up and like really use them for automotive use the way technicians really use screwdrivers. So I think that my overall opinion on these screwdrivers is I think they're pretty similar to the old snap-ons, and I think that the quality of these screwdrivers is high enough to be able to use these in any field, whether it be automotive or otherwise. These are some really decent screwdrivers, and the price is good enough, in my opinion, that you could really beat these screwdrivers up and keep replacing them and you're not going to break the bank. So excuse me. So I really do like these Tekton screwdrivers. I would say my only gripe, if I had to be like nitpicky, is I would have liked if Tekton put a hex on there, sort of like this snap-on screwdriver. The way this snap-on screwdriver has this hex right here, this really helps when dealing with tight bolts. You can get a little wrench on there and, you know, assist you in busting that bolt. So I think that these tips here on the Tekton screwdrivers are just as good as any premium screwdriver here. So I think that if they would have put a little hex on here, this would have been, in my opinion, a perfect screwdriver. So if I had to rate these screwdrivers from a scale to like 1 and 10, I'd probably give them an 8. Definitely would have gave them a 9 if they would have had the little hex design on there. But I would give them like overall an 8 in like usability. These are screwdrivers that you can definitely use, abuse, beat them up, crack screws loose, and like really get some dirt on these screwdrivers. So I don't think you have to be afraid to you know, hammer and beat these screwdrivers up like you would do on some of the other brands out there that's premium. So anyway, guys, that was my take on these Tekton screwdrivers. Just a side note for those who may be interested, they do have the size. This is a P2, a Phillips 2. They do have them marked at the top, so if you slide them into some type of holster or holder, you can see what type of screwdriver you have up here up top. The handles, they are hard handles, and they are pretty hard. They feel good in the hand, no doubt about it. I wouldn't discourage anybody from buying these screwdrivers at all. These are definitely some pretty decent screwdrivers. Again, shout out to Brent over at Tekton Tools for sending over these screwdrivers. It's much appreciated. Thanks a lot. Well, I'm basically in the middle of nowhere, and if you take a look at my voltage gauge, you see that I'm definitely below 14 volts, and I just noticed it. So I pulled over, and I got these jumper cables I keep under my seat, and they have a little voltmeter on there, and I'm at 12.4 volts. So that's no good. I got my GPS on right now, directing me to the nearest auto parts store. So I'm gonna try to find an alternator. Hopefully they have the alternator for my truck, and have to swap an alternator on the spot here. My battery light didn't cut on, and I'm at 12.4 volts, so I'm pretty shocked. I'm also shocked that this alternator has gone out already. This car is only 3 years old. I got 17,000 miles on this vehicle. I bought it with had like 12 miles on it when I bought the vehicle, so it's brand new. Yeah, so I'm pretty sure this is a AC Delco genuine GM alternator that only lasts me 17,000 miles, and I've had the trucks for 3 years. I bought it in 2017, and failed on me in the middle of nowhere on the road. So luckily I'm by myself, my family ain't with me, but still. Anyway, hopefully I'll find an auto parts store pretty soon. Alright, so I'm pretty close. Got the GPS going on my phone, so I'm not far away. So hopefully they have that alternator. There's an O'Reilly's right here. There's also an AutoZone. So between these two, somebody ought to have an alternator. It's a pretty common engine in this vehicle, nothing special. It's just a typical LS motor. Let's see. Yep, here's an AutoZone. We'll go with AutoZone on this one, just because I blew by that O'Reilly's too quick. Alright, heading up in here. What is that? Yeah. No worries. Oh, they didn't have it, so I'm gonna head over here to this O'Reilly's next door, see if they have it. Pull around here. Hopefully this O'Reilly's have it, or that's gonna really change what I planned on doing tonight. I won't be on the road, that's for sure. Hopefully I'm not sleeping in my truck. Alright, here we are. Well, they didn't have it either. So I'm gonna have to drive to another location. Alright guys, so I went back to this AutoZone and I paid for it in advance because there's another AutoZone. He said about 10 miles away that has it. So just went ahead and paid for it here, and so I can go over there and pick it up. So the guy said it's about, I don't know, 10 miles away. So right now my alternator is charging, so that should be, we should be good to at least make it over there. But I definitely don't want to gamble. I did see it at 12.4 volts, and it did stay way below the 14. It was down here at like the 12 line. It stayed there for a while, so way longer than I was comfortable driving with it at. So just because it's saying 14 right now doesn't mean that I'm gonna take the chance and continue on my trip. I got about 500 miles to drive, maybe a little less, maybe about 400 miles. So I'm just gonna play it safe, go ahead and get another alternator. So there's no sense in gambling. Alright guys, found another AutoZone. It was a lot further than that guy said it was, I'll tell you that. But they should have what I need. Alright guys, found me an alternator. Pretty expensive for this truck. $70 core on it. Let's find a spot to install it somewhere. Alright guys, so this is what I got under my seat. I got a Tekton kit right here. Pair of pliers. Flat screwdriver. Phillips screwdriver. Adjustable. Little flashlight. Another little flashlight. And I got a bag of wrenches right here. So I'll find a spot to get this hooked up. Also have a flashlight, not a flashlight, but a work light, a Harbor Freight brown work light. So let's find a spot, put it in. Here's a Walgreens over here. I'm thinking that I probably should install it right here, being that I can pick up some beverages and use the restroom, pick up some snacks and things like that before I hop back on the road. So guess I'm gonna pull in to this Walgreens here and find a little spot and see if I can't swap this alternator out. I'm actually tempted to just keep driving, and if anything goes wrong, then swap the alternator out, but that's probably not the smartest idea. So I'm just gonna get out and change it, even though I don't want to. Alright, now that it's nightfall, you know, it's a little more difficult, but I still think it's probably the best and smartest decision. So alright, I'm gonna pull back here and find me a little place to throw this alternator in. Alright guys, let's get to work. Alright, yes, I do keep gloves in my little emergency kit back here. Grab a couple gloves, get to work. Alright, well, it's pretty easy to get to right up here up top. So let me disconnect the battery and yank it out real quick. There's really nowhere to set you guys up, so try my best. Alright, let's grab a 10 out of my Tekton set. Get this battery disconnected. Electric ratchet sure would be nice. But I'm grateful for what I have. This belt tensioner is actually a 1/2 inch. I don't have nothing 1/2 inch, so I just use my breaker bar just to pry on it. Bolts are out. Try to pry on it with this. Alright, got it out. New one going in. Put this belt back on. Alright, belt's on. Alright guys, got it in. Belt's on, make sure it's on all the way. Yep. Alternator's in. Let's put the air cleaner back on, we're good to go. Alright, let's get this air box on. And our PCB hose is back on. Alright guys, let's fire it up. Make sure we got 14 volts. Alright, so this is what I got for a voltmeter. So I'll put it on a battery and see what I got. Alright, so I was reading 15.1. That's better than 12, but I believe it should settle down. Hopefully, there we go. Alright, so it's settling down. So this should keep the battery charged on my drive all the way back to SAC. But we are at a Walgreens, so while I'm here, I'm going to run in here and grab some water and some snacks and stuff for the road. Thanks, Tekton. You came in handy. junk do we want? Alright guys, well that was a, man, what, 2-hour detour, but I got a fresh alternator in there. Looks like it's charging over 14 a little bit, so I know I'm going to end up pulling this alternator back out and taking it to AutoZone when I get to my destination, and probably end up buying a genuine AC Delco alternator, or at least something better than this AutoZone. Anyway guys, thanks for coming along with me on this little detour. I'm getting back on the road now. Oh, I got about a 10-hour, maybe an 8-hour drive ahead of me. This is Brian 916. Thanks for tuning in. I'll see you guys on the next one. Alright, so fast forward guys, I'm back in Sacramento. I finished my road trip. I did a little bit of research on my charging system when I got back, just to get more familiar with it now that my vehicle is no longer under warranty. I had a 3-year warranty on it, and so my warranty just recently expired, and what do you know, I got a voltage or a charging issue right after it expires. But anyway, so now that all the maintenance on this truck is going to fall into my hands, I went ahead and did a little bit of research on the charging system, and come to find out, the way that this system works is the BCM and the ECM basically communicate how much electrical load or how much voltage the alternator needs to give the battery. So in other words, let's say you have the high beams on, or you're driving at night with the headlights on, you're gonna be at 14 volts because it's a higher load. But if you're driving in the daytime, the volts could go down to like 12.5 volts like I seen. So basically it has like an active management system on how much voltage to give to battery. It's just not constantly at 14, which is odd because I've always seen the voltmeter or the voltage gauge on this car at 14. So that's pretty odd to me. I never seen this happen, so, but apparently that's how it works. And the reason why I'm driving at night is because I'm going to show you guys, the best way to show you is at night. So I could turn my headlights on and off, and you can see the volt gauge actually go up and down depending on how much electrical load I put on the vehicle. So I'm going to come over here and show you guys exactly what I mean. Okay, so as you can see, it's nighttime and my headlights are on. And if we bring it down here, you can see right here on my voltage meter, we're at 14 volts. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn my lights off, and once I turn the lights off, let me park a little bit. So once I turn my lights off, you'll see the voltage go down. So you can see it just dropping. The engine's still running. So you can see why this was odd to me. Here I am driving around and my voltage is at 12 volts. This goes against everything I know as an automotive technician, that it's okay to be driving around with 12.5 volts. Never is that ever a good idea. But apparently, if the battery starts to drain too low, the system will start to charge the battery. So this is all controlled through the ECM and BCM together. So I'm driving with my lights off. I'll cut the lights on and you'll see the voltage go back up as I drive. You'll see it start to go back up. So I thought that this was some good information to share in case any of you viewers out there may have a GM truck of this year and think you may be having a charging issue like I did. This may help you out a bit. You could do the same experiment that I'm doing here and see if you had a problem or not. So you can see that it's slowly climbing as we drive. Now that I got more of an electrical load on the battery because I got my headlights on, and probably even if I turn the high beams on, it'll probably shoot the gauge up even faster. So I just turned the high beams on. So let's see if it starts to move up any faster. Yeah, you can see it's moving up a little faster now. So we're almost touching 14 volts. So naturally, I did what anybody else would do. I took the alternator off that I bought and returned it and put my stock alternator back in there, because apparently that wasn't the issue and there was no issue. All right, so there it is, back at 14. Cut the high beams off so you can see the way this system works, but I highly doubt that. But anyway, I thought that this was some pretty useful information for anybody that may have a vehicle like this and think you may have a charging system problem. So anyway, it looks like I need to go and get some gas. This is Brian 916. Thanks for tuning in. See you guys on the next one.